I just wanted to speak to something this morning. I remember years ago, that was 1998. I finished service in May 14, 1998, and I came back to Lagos. So I made a point to attend House on the Rock. They were still using the Museum Center in Lagos. And my first time seeing Pastor Paul Adepasin, I saw how he was decked up, how he was preaching, his suit and everything. And so I came back home, and a friend invited me to a particular church, and I was in that church for a while. But then my pastor there, Pastor Tunde Oyedepo, is also a power dresser. But here's the point that I want to make. So I also went to shop. I shopped for a suit and I shopped for a shoe. And I was standing in front of the mirror in my house, and I'll be shouting, I feel like preaching, I feel like preaching. Because I know then, Pastor Paul Adefasin, after he had taught the word for some while, he will grab a second mic and he will whoop. I'm like, I want to preach to you this one, and I'll just start in front of the mirror too, and I'll mimic that, and I'll say, I feel like preaching, but the word never really came out. I didn't really know what to preach about. And the point I'm trying to make is that so many people will copy the lifestyles of celebrities. We copy the lifestyles of our mentors, but we don't really focus on what they did to get there. And after that happened, and after I bought the suit, I bought the big shoes, and my pastor said to me, I said, Banjo, this your shoe is ministerial. So I started following my pastor around. I started noticing the way he was studying, the way he was praying and things, and that happened from 1998, the end of 1998 to 99, 2000. Came to Ilorin for my postgraduate, served with Reverend George, was there for like 2 years, and man, the training was awesome. Now, the point I'm trying to make is that don't follow the lifestyles, follow the process. Because if you are going to be anything in the future, if God is going to make you to be anything, particularly if you have an assignment from God, you have to become before you start doing. If you start doing before you become, you will get tired on the way. You get tired on the way. And so that's why sometimes when a woman gets pregnant, it takes like, I think the gestation period is about 9 months. And so the baby has to go through a process in the womb. A woman does not just get pregnant today and will give birth today. No, it doesn't happen like that. So I want us to erase that blow, BLOW, I want blow. Erase it from our mentality, because that is not what success is all about. I used to have a carpenter who used to come and work for me. After a while, I didn't see him again. And I heard that he bought a car and everything. I was like, he bought a car? He's a young guy. How did he buy a car? He just started his craft. And after a while, I heard that he bought a car, but after I used it for like a week or 2 weeks, that he couldn't get a battery that the battery of the car got spoiled, and he was looking for a battery to use the car. I think he sold the car off. Now, the Yorubas will say, bóyá owó tọmọ dé bá kọ́kọ́ rí á fi jẹ àkàrà ni, meaning that when a child, the first money, the first finance that a young person that is immature makes, that he does not spend that money well. And so your first happenstance should not be to copy lifestyles, should not be to copy the way somebody is dressing, should not be to copy the way somebody is driving, the way somebody is preaching. But the first thing you have to do is to learn what brought them to where they are. What brought them to where they are? Their prayer life, their study life, the way they collaborate with people. And so when a woman, back to my story, so when a woman takes in, when there's a process, so the baby takes like 9 months before that baby comes out, and she now gives birth to that baby. And that also is a process. Even giving birth is a process. When my wife first became pregnant, and after when she was about 8.5 months, One day she started feeling she was going to give birth, and I rushed her. I rushed her off to the clinic, and when we got there, the midwife just took a look at her and said and said, go back home. And I'm like, ma, she's laboring, she's clinical. The woman just said, this one with makeup. She said, go back home, madam, it's not your time. And I was shocked. And I was telling her, they said you should go back home. But you see, when it was time for her to give birth, my God, when it was time for my wife to give birth, when that process came to, I'm telling you, when we got to the hospital, nobody told anybody that my wife was ready, because she was screaming, she was shouting, she had removed her trousers, and that first time we went to the clinic with trousers, she was wearing a blouse, she was still all padded up. I said, go back home. By the time she returned, again, about a few weeks later, the trouser was off, everything was in disarray, no makeup. So what I'm trying to say is that the suits or the shoes, they are all good. But I'm telling you that when you go through a process, sometimes you don't remember this suit. So sometimes you don't use sometimes you don't remember the shoes. I'm not saying it's wrong to have all these things. I'm not saying it's wrong to package. I just wanted to share with us from my heart that success has a price. And so when you see all our young ones out there doing Yahoo, 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 Yahoo Plus, and it's because they don't understand that success has a process. It has a process. You can't just finish from school and you are saying you want to build a house for your parents and you want to buy a car in the next 6 months. It does not just happen like that, except you have an inheritance somewhere. So we need to teach the process. We need to go through the process. We need to understand the process. You see, what mentoring does is that it makes things easier for you. When you have a mentor, you're not supposed to look at their lifestyle, the house they are living, and their car and everything. Now, it's not wrong to know that. But why don't you ask yourself, how were they trained? Who were their pastors? Who are their mentors? I mean, let me tell you, what I do is that the people I follow, my own mentors, I go on Twitter and I look at the people that they follow. And so, on Twitter, you can see who somebody is following. So I go to see who they are following. And I try to see, and I'm like, so I'm trying to gauge their feeding with who they follow. And so sometimes I follow the people that my mentors are following. I don't even know them. I just follow them because I want to also start eating what my mentors are eating, even if I cannot digest it. But I try to digest it via their own teaching. So let's learn to follow hard, not follow softly. Following is a hard thing. You follow, learn the process, you learn what they go through. You see, what they went through can be easier for you if we learn and we see things from their eyes. That is just it. That is what mentorship will do for you. So I think I'd like to just conclude by saying that I would like to encourage us. I just wrote a book, Succeed, It Is Your Turn. Succeed, It Is Your Turn. And I'm going to drop the link in my bio so that you can try and get that book for yourself. That book is really going to help. Thank you so much for staying tuned. God bless us. Have a wonderful day and see you soon. Bye.